be like, do you ever feel like you wasted years of your life developing a good personality when all girls care about is money?
Hey, chill out. Like, no, when you put it that way, that's low-key how it is.
My mom,
Which part of New York?
Brooklyn.
Okay, so I was in the Bronx last weekend.
Ew. Funny you say that because every day when I go to work, they say, "Oh, look, it's Jaden, the one that wants 6 kids."
Perfect. All right, so welcome to Piece by Piece podcast. I'm your host, William Parham. Today we'll be talking about mental health in nursing field. And on top of that, expectations for 2024. But before we get started, I just want to let you guys know we are now streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we keep all of our videos and more up to date on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you ate breakfast today, like this podcast, comment. And yeah, let's get started. So introducing our guest, I'm here with 2 friends, Jaden, Josh, WJ.
Howdy.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
It's kind of crazy.
So tell me a little bit about yourselves, career, or something like the world.
Yeah, so my name is Jaden Dennis. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 6 months already. It's crazy to say. I typically work a lot with rehabilitation with my patients. So where I work at, we have a lot of patients that have a variety of issues. My job is to, in conjunction with our OT department, our PT department, is to make sure that we get our patients back out to what they were doing before they came into our facility. And for some patients, they may never return to what they are. So it's basically finding a new normal for them. However we can do treatments, making sure that we continue to heal things that might arise on their skin, encouragement, all things like that. So all the basic stuff and then some, But that's pretty much what I do on a day-to-day life. I enjoy it a lot. I get to see a whole bunch of different things that happen. So it's good for the knowledge, for sure.
Knowledge is power.
Yes, it is.
So in other words, would you say you're like the front lines before getting more specific? Like which were OT or PT?
I would say if somebody has a issue, then they would go to a hospital and then they would see a nurse first. So, once they're in the hospital, they get the treatment plans and stuff from the healthcare professionals there. From there, they would refer them to an outpatient, PT or OT, or even an inpatient PT and OT and things of that nature. So typically, I guess you could say,
You're like patients run into you first.
Right. Patients typically run into the nurses first, and then we act, I guess, as the extension to our physicians, and we carry out orders and create care plans for our patients for the best treatment outcomes. Yeah, good stuff, man.
Bro, much respect. I cannot do that. We're gonna learn more about the mental health field in that next, but
for sure,
we'll learn more about Josh first.
It is so much more wholesome than anything I've ever done, professionally or with my life. So thank you for existing and doing positive things for the world.
Of course, you do your own positive things in your own way.
Yeah, definitely less impactful.
It depends on how you look at it, though.
Yeah, maybe. So I have a history in tech and sales, basically. I've done tech consulting. I've been an engineer. I've done DevOps. These words are boring. It's okay. And then I realized I'm super extroverted. So then I went into sales. And then, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure things out right now. My last role was sales engineering for a tech startup. It was really cool. It was very engaged. But I'm just looking for new professional growth opportunities.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know, right?
New professional growth opportunities.
I'm gonna post this on LinkedIn later. So
I'm gonna say his LinkedIn's probably fire.
I'm trying to get
if you're interested, feel free to reach out. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. Anyways,
smooth plug.
But I want to do more positive things. with my life because everything I've done has been very like me focused. Like I just want to make as much money as possible, basically, to be transparent about it, which isn't bad because then you could provide for your family and your friends. But it'd be nice for my work to have greater impact. Like the only things I do that are really positive are just like chatting with strangers. Like whenever I interact with someone, I try to like make them smile or like crack a joke and just like brighten up their day in these like little ways.
Right.
If I see an old lady, I'll talk her up and ask her about her life, and it'll make her feel like seen. And like, it's just nice, but it's very like small things, which still have impact. It's
Yeah.
not
But I
like
said little things count.
Exactly.
You sound like you're very like foot in the door type of like. You could definitely break the ice, get someone comfortable, get the conversation going, and now it's like you want to do something that can last longer. Sounds like.
yeah. Well, I had this thought the other day, where I was like, if I could make the most positive change for the world, like what would I do? And it's good to like really aim outrageously big, like create a goal that I'll just never accomplish, so then I could always work for it.
Right.
Because once you accomplish a goal, it's like okay, like what now? And I was like, I care about kids a lot. I think they're the future. I feel like, but I don't really like interact with them. But the thought was inspired. I was at the gym and I was like running, and there was a bunch of kids like chilling like on the side, or at the track. And every
you
time
were
I
down by like the courts.
yeah, and
Okay,
every
okay.
time I'd pass, they'd all wave and like cheer me on, and I was like, this feels really good. And then I ran harder because they were cheering me on. I was like, I want to inspire them. They're inspiring me. So it's like, if I could instill positive values in kids, like honesty, integrity, empathy, kindness, humility, stuff like this. Like if every kid on Earth like really like took those values to heart, the world would be much better. Like in the long run.
Sounds like you want to be a teacher.
But I don't want to be a
That-
teacher because I want to make
I
money.
mean,
It sounds like a teacher,
you,
right?
you could be a sergeant.
That's-
If kids were able to enlist in like the military, that's exactly what it sounds like.
I'm very like
Or
freedom
Marine.
oriented though, so it's like I don't think I do military. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
with my life.
influencer.
Influencer.
That's bad word.
That's what we're here.
It's bad work, but when you put it that way,
I mean, that's technically
Yeah,
influencer.
yeah.
You're right. He's
But
influencing the next generation.
exactly, you don't want to teach, so it's like, how else would you instruct the kids?
Inspire.
Trends.
You gotta do it on TikTok too.
Exactly. You can make trends that would like inspire kids.
You gotta dance.
Yeah, I'll just dance my way to a better world.
If you create your own dance and put a message behind it, I guarantee you.
just like, hey kids,
That's what I'm saying.
Be honest to each other.
Or some
I'm like, and they'll start doing it. You'll driving around, you'll see them doing your dance. Trust me.
like, hey, that's that guy.
I don't know if that's what I want to be known for.
That's true. You could be a nice David Goggins.
Hey, a wholesome David
Yeah,
Goggins.
we all know who David Goggins is.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Okay. So for those who don't know, David Goggins is like the superhuman who's done like every military fitness challenge, and he says it's all mental, but there was actually a study that went out. He has no lactic acid buildup.
Really?
Yeah, so when you don't have lactic acid buildup, you don't get cramps.
Yeah, that explains why he's
Yeah.
able to run all of those marathons.
Exactly. I was
that
like,
actually makes a lot of
No
sense.
hard work, no mental.
it's definitely hard
just
work.
the
No, it's
lactic
definitely
acid.
hard
it's definitely
work,
hard
but,
work.
Like,
but
I
when you
could
don't
totally
catch
do it
cramps,
too,
buddy,
but it's like I just
listen,
don't
if I could never catch a cramp,
Bro,
I'd be
if I
going
had
crazy.
no lactic acid, come on, bro.
come on
Like,
now.
come on. I'll still be running.
I'd run here. I'd run to the
We'd be
gym.
running while doing this one.
Bro, I wouldn't have drove here.
Like,
I would have jogged here from my house.
yeah, so that's getting on. Now, I got some questions I want to ask you guys. Josh, Jaden, more than happy to answer either or. But it's right now it's pertaining to mental health in the healthcare field. Because ever since the pandemic hit, it's taken a big hit on everyone's mental toll. Because I think they compare being in a hospital is like the same thing on Wall Street in like early 2000 or something. Like it's chaotic, it's back and forth. People are kind of more focused on getting the assignment done than actually like the nurturing care. Like, yes, nurses provide that sense of comfort, but at the end of the day, it's like, I need to make sure this chart's filled with information that you need to provide and what you need to get done. So it's almost like a business model. It is a business model.
Yeah.
So, first question that I want to ask is self-reflection. How do you, Jaden, personally manage the emotional challenges that can arise in healthcare, especially roles directly involved in patient care?
So for me specifically,
Yeah.
I've worked with so many dementia patients, older patients, some young patients in my 4 years, 3.5 years of being in medicine. First started as a nursing assistant and now being a nurse. After a while, you typically find your own personal ways to cope. I play a lot of video games, so 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 I in me playing video games, it gives me a chance to detach from the world. I don't have to think about the stresses of work. I don't have to think about the stresses of even life. It gives you the chance to detach from life itself. But I think also having a lot of hobbies, don't let your life be focused around work. Let work be something that's in your life.
Yep. I can
You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if
Like it doesn't define who you are.
right,
It's just
so
a skill.
exactly. So at the end of the day, when I go home, I am still a nurse by trade and by law. Yes, I am a nurse. But when I go home, does my family look at me as a nurse? No. They look at me as son, grandson, cousin. So you have to be able to separate the two. But it also circles back to passion. You know, are you truly passionate about where you're working? Because sometimes, and it's not to say that you can't get burnt out by your passion, but having passion helps the burnout be less.
Yep.
So I think for me, it's more so finding what I'm passionate about, just continuing to learn any opportunity that I get, continuing to play video games, and continuing to find new hobbies. Whether that's for me personally, I like to work out, but it's more of a lifestyle. I tend to work out to encourage my patients to be healthier. Um, Outside of that, you know, any new hobby that I could find, whether it's reading, going for jogs, or spending, quality time with my family. Before I worked weekends, every Sunday I would cook dinners for me and my grandmother. So, every any little opportunity that you get to find a new passion or a new hobby, I think simultaneously takes your mind off of work. But I think the biggest thing is when it comes to mental health in medicine is you need to have a strong administrative staff backing you. There's a study that's on the CDC's website that shows that I believe around 44% of healthcare workers felt burnt out because they felt that their administrative staff wasn't backing them.
Now, when you say backing, can you go?
Yeah, so what I mean by backing, I mean supporting. So, like you said before, it's a business model. Essentially, the hospitals, nursing homes, outpatient rehab facilities, inpatient rehab facilities. Yes, the goal is to help our patients, but at the end of the day, the goal is also to make money. So, how do most of these places make money? They make money based off of insurance, proper paperwork, things of that nature. You can't ask a nurse that has to take care of enough patients, some that might have tubes down their neck, some with tubes in their sides, some with so many variant different treatments. You can't ask them to be 100% focused on that patient while also making sure they get 100% of every little minute detail of paperwork done. It's just impossible. And when you have good nurses that are trying to do all of that, that's where you start to see so much burnout happening because they have the stress of their administrative staff behind them saying, hey, listen, we got to get this out. We have to do this. Hey, you didn't do this. I need you to come back to work on your day off to finish this paperwork. It's like, why are you calling me on my day off to come in and finish paperwork?
It's like when, like you said to begin with, when you're playing video games and you're de-stressing, and then you get a call back to reality, like, yeah, come finish this paper. You're like,
exactly.
what?
And just like that, it circles back to what I said before, where work is now the center of your life, and now you're just revolving around work. When in actuality, your life, and exactly, your life should be the most important thing. Work work should just be something that revolves around your life. It's not something that you should be considering the end all be all. You know.
I'm glad, Josh, for the intervene. I'm glad you said that because that's what I feel like college has kind of pushed kids towards. Is that, you want to go to college so you can get a job that your life revolves around now. It's like, you got to get the internships. You got to get the work experience. You need like 10 years of work experience before you come work with us, and you graduated at like 21. It's like, damn. So I did all this in my life. I got all this experience, all this character development, just to be another cog in the machine that's known as your company. Whereas I have value, but I can get replaced just as easily.
Exactly.
Like I sacrificed all my well-being just to get this job and do this just to get my job.
Exactly. Yeah. So why would you give your all to something that you know at any moment you can lose, and they'll find somebody to do your job?
Or replace you with AI.
I'll interject.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because
once you said AI, the tech man just had to interject. He was over here scratching. He couldn't wait.
Well, there's so many like tracks I want to pick up on, but regarding like work-life balance, you could live any way that you want, I think, and I've seen people and I've worked with people who just put their whole being into what they're working on. I think there's two different ways of working. One is like you're just clocking in at a job because you need to get paid, which is like surviving, or you could be flourishing at a job and it's like you want to put more time into it. And there's these states when you're working on something where you're like so involved that you want to see it through. I think a lot of artists and creatives feel like that. So like if you're working in art or like something creative or like a song, you can just pour in hours because you're like in the zone and you want to see it through. One of my friends who knows who he is, if he's listening, he works at Blizzard as a game producer.
Okay.
Blizzard made World of Warcraft and all these other titles.
So very cool.
He works with a lot of artists, and they'll work way more hours than what's required of them, even though they're not getting paid for those additional hours, because their name is tied to the art that they're making, and they want to make it as good as possible. Because they also take pride in it, and they enjoy it. I've also worked with entrepreneurs who will just pour countless hours into the machine that they built, like the company, because they enjoy it too. Like one of my former bosses would work until like 3 a.m. He didn't need to. He didn't need to work at all. I mean, it's like he had enough money to just retire.
He enjoyed it.
Yeah, he enjoyed it. Like for him, it was a form of artistry. And I asked him, I was like, "Why are you working? Like, you don't need to be starting companies." And he was like, "If you have an idea, you got to see it through." And you could tell it just like really energized him. And yeah, he's like on all day, every day, because he loved it. So that's the mode of being that I would like to be in. And one of my old friends, he shared with me this word. This Meraki. It's a Greek word, and it's to work on something with so much passion that you leave a part of your soul in the thing that you're working on.
I feel like that's why music gets so popular and like has such a great movement.
Yeah.
It's because certain lyrics and certain like harmonies when they synchronize that, like when they synchronize a bar with a chord or like an instrumental or whatever, it just hits you differently because not only is it like resonating with maybe your internal memories, but it's like a highlight for the being in the moment.
Right.
I can't think of a bar off the top of my head that like actually yes I can. When Drake back in 2013, 2014 came out with that bar, it was like dropped out of school and I was born rich. I kid you not, all my friends were like, "Yeah, I wish we
right
on that vibe." But then following up now, I have like a fun question to ask. Both of you can answer. Josh, I feel like you're more inclined here. But if your mental health had a resume, what accomplishments and achievements would it list by the end of 2020? Talking about goals and what your expectations.
Mine would be to not harp on the past, because I'd say like every single day I'll still have like memories, or like I'll just harp on negative interactions that I had with people, even though And I think it's because that feeling's still unresolved with that person. But there's some times where it's like you don't want to reach out to a person to like resolve that because you just history has shown that it's not going to turn out well. So learning just to live with that and just like let go. And I've been working on it, but that would be my accomplishment. I'd be very happy.
Sounds like that. Is that like holding you back? Or hold you back?
Yeah, it holds you back for the moment. I realized this is like a very silly example, but it's from like a breakup. Basically, it's like I keep thinking of my.
Those be the worst moments sometimes.
Yeah, no.
Man.
I still got breakups in the back of my head to this very day.
But I like after it happened, I was like thinking about her like every single day. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened like this. It got better. I read this book called The Artist's Way, and it's actually written by Martin Scorsese's wife, which is interesting. Martin Scorsese is a famous director. He did The Wolf of Wall Street and other really big films.
Yeah, he's like one of the most popular directors ever. Yeah.
He's an artist, and his wife was a former professor of like, unblocking creativity. That speaks to the power of having a good partner who supports you. But in the book, it had some exercises like for journaling. Like he recommended every morning writing 3 pages of stream of consciousness thoughts, which is a pretty big commitment. It takes a while, but I did that for like every day for like 3 months, and I found that very healing. And that whole process helped me let go of a lot. And I had this moment where I like stepped out of the shower, like the mirror is foggy because of the heat, and I just started like drawing, like happy faces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I realized that I hadn't done that in so long, even though I used to do that all the time. Like I used to like write things and just like draw pictures, and I just stopped because I was just always in my head. Like I realized like every time I was getting in the shower, I was thinking of my ex because I was just like lost in the past. Like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened. I'm like missing out on the present. And I had this moment where it's like it wasn't on my mind at all. I was able to be fully present and like connect with that like inner child where like creativity and freedom come about. So it's hard to move forward with one foot in the past.
That's what it was. Now that you mentioned it, sorry. Coming back to what we talked about earlier. Not that drink bar, I erased that. Forget I said that. Love songs. When you have a breakup, that's why artists who like Taylor Swift who talk about relationships and stuff get so big because they hit people's audience. Everyone's been through some type of breakup. Everyone's had some type of heartbreak. Might not be able to let go. And music triggers emotions such as that, or feelings of feeling better, or maybe key memories that remind you of that.
You're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone.
That's true. That's what everybody always says, especially nowadays. Where's old Drake? Because old Drake was able to touch on everybody's emotions the right way. With you wasn't hearing rappers be singers and be so in tune with themselves like Drake was. I think that's what separated Drake from the rest of the pack. But now we see that there's so many people here in the present that are depressed. And depression is funny because depression comes from living in the past and anxiety comes from fear in the future. So there's so many people now that they wish they could go back to the past that they forget to live here in the present to create a better future for themselves. So it's so hard when you try to work on your mental health and stuff because there's so many things and aspects that you wish that I wish that I could bring this back from the past. But I think some of it is so many people wanted to grow up before their time. Like Josh, you just said you got out of the shower and you was drawing smiley faces on the mirror.
Yep.
But that's that's fun. Those are instinctively fun things to do that we didn't even realize we enjoy doing. And then you think about it in the grand scheme, you're like, damn, that's like what kids do. But then at the end of the day, in every single adult is a kid.
Right.
That because anything that you could do could be considered something that a kid would do. So whatever makes you happy, we just need to follow what makes you happy and stop looking at the what we
Social
consider
norms
the
are.
social norms of, oh no, you're too old to be doing that, or we need to just start living in the present and taking every day, as it comes to us, as opposed to saying, oh well, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I'm not a kid. Just being yourself.
I agree entirely. I guess to stem off what you're saying, people lose that sense of happiness when they're overtaken by desires.
Right.
So like when you realize what money can do and all the possibilities, you stop focusing less on the stuff that makes you happy. You focus more on the materialistic of like what the opportunities are, because like you're saying, the social norms, what social media presents to you, or what you see other people have, you want what they want,
Exactly.
and it takes away from what you want, and that's why some people who are billionaires, some people who are millionaires, they're not happy because they have all this material wealth, but then end up losing sight of what they enjoy doing from the start.
Exactly.
And that's like a bit of a corruption. And would you say nurses perhaps fall in love with nursing? Get so obsessed with the money and lose track of what they actually like doing?
1,000%. There's so many nurses that you see in social media, going from facility to facility. You see so many nurses that their mindset is, okay, one shift equals bills, second shift equals this, third shift equals vacation.
That's looking me sometimes.
That's literally no, and that's how you should think. But at the same time, because even if you're very passionate about something, you want to make money based off of your passion.
Correct.
So because a passion with no money is just a hobby. So at some point you want to be passionate about something. You want to make money from that passion. The problem stems in healthcare in general is when you take on too much in the negative for the patient. So you're taking on all of these double shifts. You're working 5-6 days a week. You're doing all of this extra work, but now you're working, let's say, 8, 12, 16-hour shifts. When are you going to have time to spend for yourself? You don't have time to spend for yourself.
Downtime, yeah.
So after a certain point of, I think it's like maybe 13 or 14-ish hours of consistent work, symptoms arise that are similar to that of somebody that's on the verge of being drunk. So you have some nurses that are working, 16 hours, and I'm a victim to it as well, because I do work 16-hour shifts.
You seem very aware though.
Yeah, it's because you have to understand that the patient, we have to emphasize the patient, because if we don't emphasize the patient, I won't get paid, the facility won't get paid, nobody will get paid. But above all else, that patient won't be able to get the proper care and treatment that they need. And then what's going to happen? If they deteriorate, if their condition gets worse and worse and worse, then what happens? Now, that patient might not be able to come back to where they were, and you don't get paid.
That's a lose.
Exactly. So how do you win-win? You prioritize patient care, but you also have to prioritize yourself. I understand when you have a family to support that you have to work more hours. Totally get it.
Right.
We're all adults. We all have responsibilities. But at the same time, my message here is don't kill yourself trying to don't kill yourself to the point where you're not supporting yourself and you're not able to take care of the patient properly, and you don't burn yourself out. Because everywhere you look, all healthcare providers are talking about is burnout. I feel so burnt out. Why? Because you're taking on more responsibility than you should. You probably need to emphasize more rest, and B, you know, it's a cost effective thing to get rid of staff when certain censuses are low. Just because a census drops below a certain point doesn't mean that you should cut a nurse off the floor.
Scramble the jets. Oh my god.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh well, I'm looking at the data, and it seems like we don't need an extra nurse because the census is not that low. Yeah, we might not have, a high census, but of the patients that we have, this one needs treatments, that one needs treatments, this one needs to have their trach sucked, like the sputum sucked out of their trach. So it's not easy. Just because the census is low, it's not easy. If anything, the people that are still there need so much care that we're not even able to properly give it because now we're getting hit with more patients. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now at the beginning of all of this, when you start asking me this question,
Yeah.
we all stem from the backs of money. It all starts and ends with money. But you can't look at the money. You have to look at, the passion.
Profession.
Exactly. You gotta look at the profession. You gotta look at the passion. Because when you follow the passion profession, the money is gonna follow suit at any point anyway.
I be trying to tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, I'm reeling you in for this now because when you said proper care for patients and not focusing on the money entirely, like we had this talk earlier about like how both our families were raised, what our household was like. I'm not gonna talk anything about yours, but I'll kind of bring up a bit of mine. I was raised by my grandparents, not my mother, and they were so focused, my grandparents, on giving me like the materialistic things that I need, that they weren't providing me any of like the personality like with it. So like stemming from the example you said about your boss, like when you do your best work, you put a bit of your soul into it. Your child is like your best work. So like not putting in a bit of your soul and leaving and just focusing on materialistic creates a misery type of thing. So I'm saying for proper care with nursing is if you're not putting a bit of your soul into it, whether you're showing your charisma when you talk to your patients or like leaving a little bit of like, you do like a little intro, smile, something to get them going, like the small little things, that's where it becomes miserable because it's like just going through the motions of, oh, I need this money. Let me do as little bit as possible. Like let me just do what I need to do.
Exactly.
Just to get it done.
Exactly.
Right. And then you have a patient who's not like might be physically better, but now they're mentally not better. And it's just, it creates a terrible negative feedback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it continues, and then it spills off into your personal life. And why would you want to go home? Say you have a young child. Why would you want to bring that energy home to your child?
Exactly.
You
work all this work not to like show your kids some love and some compassion. Well, I paid the bills.
Exactly. It's like it's more than just paying the bills. It's the love. Like you said earlier, put your soul into me.
Well, that's what I said.
Well, that's what Josh said. I'm sorry, John.
What his boss said.
It was a collaborative.
Right.
Solid.
But it's true though. When you put your soul, your heart and soul into something, there's so many videos on YouTube where they have these random YouTubers interviewing billionaires, millionaires, right? I can't, name one off the top of my head because there's so many out there.
Jesse James West.
Right. We'll go with Jesse James West because I love Jesse James West.
Boy.
Yeah. But you know what? One of the main things that all of those people said, they said, above the money, above the fame, above being able to buy all the cars and everything, you know what they're most proud of? Being called dad.
Bro, it be hitting different.
Because at the end of the day, your kids don't care about the money you have.
Right.
They don't care about the cars that we can afford.
Yes.
They care about being able to make memories and spend time with dad.
And you hear it a lot in healthcare. Like a lot of people I work under will constantly talk about their family moments or like key moments they have with their families growing up.
Exactly.
Adventures and trips. It's not like, oh, I remember I studied this. I really did well on this exam in my head. No, it's like, yo, me and my dad, back when I was in college, I was struggling to make rent. Like, we stole a U-Haul and we did a heist or something.
Yeah,
like,
but
shit like
it's,
that. Like,
it's something that he can always remember that he did with his dad.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
There's no status. It's just my dad.
Exactly. It's no like, oh yeah, I'm so rich. It's like, no, I got to spend time with my dad.
That's why I love my dad, man. Like,
Man,
he's the biggest kid at heart. Like, my little brother got him a slingshot for Christmas.
What?
No,
Are you serious? So
It's
you
not-
just been going around the house?
It's no. It's not like regular. This is like the most advanced fucking slingshot.
Are you
Like
serious?
it's made to kill animals. Like
Whoa.
no.
it's metal rubber pellets, fully elastic rubber. It's got a sight on it and everything.
Bro, I don't
attached to
think
your
you
wrist.
should keep that in the house.
No, he definitely uses it outside. He's like,
You're a nurse. You're like, you just see that.
Bro,
Bad
I'm
idea.
literally just seeing.
I
Like,
get 5
I
slingshot
gotta
patients
call,
a day.
I
You
gotta
gotta
call
be
insurance for this. I gotta call insurance for that.
nah, he's cool. Like a story I'll give real quick. It's probably 10 seconds. Like when I used to cut grass with him, during the summers when I'd like visit him and my younger brother, he found him like a snake in like a yard, like a garden snake or a bigger snake. Take his glove, grab it, throw it up in the air, pull out his machete, and just slice it.
What? Are you
And I was just like, I used to sit from afar and be like, yeah.
Why?
Because like,
Just cause?
well, he had to kill the snakes in the yard. 'Cause, like if he's cleaning up someone's yard to pay for it, like they want all like vermin exterminated. Like he wouldn't kill rabbits and shit because they get away. But like
Right.
the snakes,
He would
just
grab it, throw it in the
throw it in the
air.
air, cut it in half with a machete.
Bro,
pretty good.
is your
Like-
father
like,
like,
samurai status,
Yeah.
bro.
bro, like, what type of third world country way of killing is this?
I don't know, but you know how we said inner child? Maybe like that's something.
Yeah,
just,
that's definitely like an
yeah,
inner child type.
like
thing.
grown ass man just having fun with his toys.
I would do something like that too. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Exactly.
if I wasn't so scared, I would then do something like that.
Bro, it's rubbing off on my younger brother because for Christmas they got these little they're not actual guns, but they're like metal pellets you shoot with the rifles.
Like the BB guns type of thing.
It's BB guns, but imagine there's like a fine tip point to them.
That's not sick.
Exactly, but they were like practice shooting a can because there's like a cat that gets in the backyard that like eats all their produce. Because
So they're gonna shoot at the cat.
they already shot him once. It's a stray
What?
cat.
Oh,
But
my.
this cat's like the size of like a small child. This is a
So
big
it's like
ass cat.
Garfield. So they
Yeah, it's a
basically
big
shoot
ass
Garfield.
cat. It's a big ass cat. So like, yeah, they're training for that. Long story short, he hasn't lost his inner child, and that's why I fuck with my dad. He makes his money. He's making 6 figures, but it's like you're at home with him, you would think he's just like one of the brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that's really how like work and life should be. See, he has so much fun at life. He just goes to work. He does what he has to do. But see, I'm sure that he enjoys what he does at work. But
Yeah, he tells me stories, moments. Yeah.
right, I'm sure. But every job has its moments. But at the same time, you see what the main thing you just talked about was? He wasn't emphasizing to you about work. He was emphasizing to you life. Work is just something revolving around his life.
Right.
And not vice versa. See? And that's why he has so much fun.
It's an older generation.
It is
Like the younger generation is switched. I feel like nowadays kids are more like, I need to make money. I need this.
That's
like,
because of
exactly.
that's because of that.
They need more money more than they need personality, and that's like the biggest problem to me.
I'll make jokes with my friends. I'll be like, do you ever feel like you wasted years of your life developing a good personality when all girls care about is money?
Hey, chill out. Like, no, when you put it that way, that's low-key how it is. Like,
I've wasted my life.
I have all this character development, and all they want is bills.
That's not true, by the way.
It's
But
not.
it's
Hey,
just
man.
good.
It's a factor. But all right, let me get into this next question
Spit.
because this helps now. So let's talk about work-life balance. Balancing work and your personal life can be very challenging.
Yeah.
How do you ensure a healthy work-life balance? And what activities or hobbies help you decompress? I think you kind of answered it with video games.
Yeah,
But is there
video
anything
games,
else?
making sure I spend time with my family.
Okay.
I talk to my little brother just about every day. We play video games all the time.
Nice.
So that was my way of being able to spend time with him. You know, we talk on the phone for maybe 3, 4, 5 hours
Damn.
playing video games. Yeah, sometimes we just talk about like random stuff, but you know, there's times where I look forward to those conversations. Sometimes he wakes me up out of my sleep. Sometimes, you know, yeah. Sometimes I wake up out of my sleep. 'Cause, you know, I don't get to see him or my other step siblings any often. So anytime we get to have our group FaceTime calls, I treasure those a lot. And you know, I think those things help keep me grounded in conjunction to, you know, spending time with my grandmother, you know, spending time with my little cousins, being able to support them in their sports. When I have long talks with my mom, I don't live with my mom. She lives in New York. So when I get to have long talks with my mom, you know, those
Which part of New York?
Brooklyn.
Okay, solid. I was in the Bronx last weekend.
Ew. Bronx is mad dirty, man.
It's not real.
Nah,
I'm sorry.
it's really not. It's like stuck in the 70s.
Yo,
It's a war zone.
I'll tell you my Bronx story after. You're saying spend
But
time
yeah,
with your
just being able to spend time with all my family, any family, and my friends. From me and you when we hang out once in a while to hanging out with all our other friends that we made at college. And, those things help keep me grounded. So I try to, even though I might not be able to make everything, I try to make as much as I possibly can because I know between school and work, things can sneak up on you real fast. And next thing you know, it's like, yeah, you do have this exam to study for. But at the same time, it's like, how much have you been studying? Even if you look at these notes for another 4 hours, are you really going to retain anything? If you're not, then
if you're not passionate.
Exactly. Or you just need a break. Your mind needs to take a reset. So in that reset, do things that you enjoy with the people that you love doing it with.
You're gonna be a cool ass dad, I can tell.
Yeah, man.
You're
I
gonna be
want
like,
bro,
I don't see him failing as a dad.
bro. This is so. It's funny you say that because I go to work every day.
I thought you were about to say I got someone pregnant.
No. Are you crazy?
That's like, what do you say that? Like,
bro, are you crazy? My mom would have killed me already.
What? Okay.
Bro, it's funny you say that because every day when I go to work, they say, "Oh, look, it's Jaden, the one that wants 6 kids."
Do you want 6?
Yeah, I do want like 6 kids. I want like
Respect.
I want like a lot of kids.
Like Rolling Stone a lot?
Exactly.
Like one woman or like Rolling Stone?
Nah. One woman. Because I wanna be able to
Shout out to the woman.
Yeah. Huge shout out, man. I don't know.
6 kids is crazy.
I don't know where I'm gonna find that, but I'm gonna find it somewhere. But everybody. I think everybody looks at they're like, "Oh, how are you gonna afford 6 kids?" I'm like, if you want 6 kids, you figure out how to afford 6 kids. I've seen my grandmother's one of 11.
I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. If my grandmother's parents could do it when there was only one working parent back in the 60s and 70s or whatever, I'm pretty sure I could do it now in 2023, about to be 2024. But I always wanted a lot of kids because I wanted to, like you said earlier, put in your soul. I want to be able to put my teachings into so many different variations of me and my partner. But I also, in a world that is so looked at when it comes to looks, everybody looks at looks, right? Not so much substance anymore. Or it's more so what materialistic things can you provide for me? It's no substance. Exactly. I wanted to be able to have a lot of kids and be like, yeah, me and my partner, we built this together, and this is our big family. This is our family that's gonna be future professionals. We're gonna go out and we're gonna make a difference in the world. So that's why I want to have a lot of kids.
Makes sense.
And I personally don't have any. I was growing up an only child. I have my step siblings, but they would go off with their mom and their family.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, it would just be me. So I was like, I always wish I had a sibling growing up. So I was like, I want to make sure that my children have other siblings, so that when me and my partner, my wife start, chatting or getting on them, they have each other to confide, and they're like, "Yo, you hear this?"
It's us versus mom.
Exactly. It's like, "Yo, you hear this?" It's like, "Yo, that is crazy, man." It's like, I think those type of moments are hilarious. Personally speaking,
that's how a family becomes stronger.
Exactly.
I like it. Now, for Josh, what are your coping mechanisms, or how do you handle yourself in stressful situations, or just balance your own work life?
Well, stress, you could always be outcome independent. So it's
Tell me more outcome independent.
No matter what happens, you're fine. And that comes with a lot of confidence. And confidence is built by evidence in handling yourself in other situations. Okay. So it's like, this bad event happened. I know that I can handle it. Or it's like, there's also kind of this like Zen monk element of not judging the moment. So it's like, this thing happened, that's great, but you don't know what's going to happen after it. So it really just is. So for example, I'll say you like meet a girl and you hit it off. You're like, oh, this is fantastic. but then the relationship turns toxic. Oh, this is terrible. And then you break up, and you're like, oh, this is terrible. Like I'm having a breakup, but then that like frees you to do something else, and then it leads you to meet this person, and it leads to this, and leads to this job. And you're like, oh, this job is great, and then it doesn't, and then that allows you to do something. So it's like
It always leads to another opportunity.
life is like a river. It's always like changing directions. There could be like rocks on the way or like a waterfall, but like it's just flowing. You're not just a moment in time. You exist across time. So like you can be very chill about it. Yeah,
That's
like
a great analogy too.
Yeah, like
I'm trying to get like this guy over here.
like, you said that smooth as shit. That's a little too much confidence.
yeah. So it's just don't judge the moment. Just flow.
You're making me think about that that one Pixar movie, The Robinsons.
It's a great movie.
It is. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, I think that was the theme.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's get into
Cars is the best Pixar movie.
Hell no, bro. Cars.
That is, bro. Bro, Lightning McQueen.
Man, Toy Story's up there. Actually, no. Toy Story lost it. I think for me, it's probably Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. solid.
I might have to Pixar marathon.
All right, but let's see. All right, I guess this could kind of help for both. I don't know if it would help as much for you, but dealing with traumatic events.
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare professionals often encounter a lot of traumatic events. Surgery, ER room, not the stuff you see on TV, the actual stuff in real life.
Right.
How do you process and cope with like the emotional impact of things like that?
Yeah. So it's funny you asked that question, and this will actually be really personal. So I was telling one of my coworkers the other day, I had a patient. Now I have I guess you could say I'm very proud of myself that whether I was a nursing assistant or a nurse, I've never had a patient pass away on me, like during my shift. So at any point, if I see something that's wrong, when I was an assistant, I would go get the nurse. As a nurse, I would have, I would make sure that I keep an open line of communication between my assistants, my GNAs, so that if anything goes wrong, you call me, and I will come sprinting down the hallway. I don't care what I'm doing.
You're speaking for your GAs.
Yeah, my GNA. Okay. So my nursing assistants. I'm speaking for my nursing assistants. They all, for the most part, if it's a nursing assistant that I work with consistently, they have my number. For any reason, whether I'm, in one of the break rooms, or I'm at the nursing station documenting, or if I bring my own personal computer and I'm documenting in one of the other lounge areas, if something happens, they come and get me, no matter what. The other day, maybe 3 weeks ago, I had a patient that I had always had for a while, and he was about 77. And I remember his personality, he was an older Nigerian man, so he was like horny too. Like you would see like some of our patients and stuff. I mean, some of our workers, and he would be like, yeah, hey man,
I've seen a lot.
So he would see some of our coworkers, some of my coworkers. He was just, he was flirting his own little goofy way, So, but then he would always see me, and he would be and he would get out because I'm a guy. But that was like our relationship, We would laugh about it and stuff like that. And I remember they had moved him from my normal unit, and then he went to the hospital. And when he came back from the hospital, he wasn't the same.
Like in a good or bad way?
In a bad way, a really bad way. So the once getting up out of his bed, walking up and down the hallway, looking for food, man was now not leaving his bed. Normally before he would scream just to get people's attention, just to be goofy, was now screaming because he was in pain. There was something wrong with him. But to us, we're like, right, he's being himself. So I remember one night, he
cried wolf.
Yeah, basically. But I remember one night, I went in the room, or one evening I went in the room, something wasn't right. It wasn't right at all. He could barely breathe. So I asked for help, got another nurse with me, got him hooked up to a whole bunch of machines, taking his vital signs. His oxygen level is decreasing fast. We get him on an oxygen tank. We push the oxygen tank up. Maybe you're getting, let's say this gallon water bottle I have, a gallon is 3 liters. He's getting 2 of these water bottles worth of oxygen pushed into his nose, just so we can keep him afloat long enough for paramedics to come to get him to the hospital. And I just remember, just standing with him. I'm rubbing him on his side. I'm like, Mister, I'm like, you coming back, man? I'm like, I'm gonna see you. I'm like, I'm gonna see you. You coming back? I was like, I'm gonna see you. And the other nurse that was with me, she was she's also Nigerian, so she spoke their native tongue, and that made his eyes perk up because he understood it, and he said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I remember I spoke to his daughter, and I told her everything that was going on, and she called me back an hour later to say, I won't be calling anymore. My father passed away. So even though he never died on me, for some reason, something about that death just didn't sit right with me for the next week, because I had never had somebody die that close to me leaving, nor did I have, nor did I ever have anybody die on me as a nurse, or even that close to as me being a nurse. So I thought to myself, was there anything I could have done differently? You start to think about it. You start to think introspectively. You're like, oh, did I do X, Y, and Z? Did I do this properly? Did I do that properly? But the more you think about it, the more you realize it's like there was nothing more that I could have done. I've done everything that I could have done. He had to go out. He had to go to the hospital. I couldn't, I don't have the facilities to have diagnosed what was wrong with him, to have saved him. But exactly, but for me, you know, death was always something that was hard to accept in life. So when that happened, I was like, Dad, man. He's not here, So, you think about it, and you're like, you know, he had X, Y, and Z wrong with him, But at the same time, you're like, oh, could I have done more? So it's hard, But I know some people, they become desensitized to it.
Right.
So to them, it's just like, oh, somebody died. Let's move on. I got other patients to worry about. But for me, even though I have never walked in on somebody dead, to me this was as close to it as it'll possibly be, knowing that had I not acted so fast, and knowing that had the nurses that had been with me acted with me so fast, he could have very well passed away, you know, in the facility on my watch. So that is probably the only thing, So I don't think when people die on me, it's something I could just put in the back burner and just not think about. I think I'll always think about it, which is why I always said I wanted to go into fields that there typically wasn't much death. But at the same time, you have to understand that working in medicine, there's always going to be, at some point, there's going to be somebody that passes away, and you just need to be ready for it and know how to navigate it within your own personal life.
So that's what I wanted to find out. I guess so. How you handle it, feel like it happened.
Yeah,
you just the best effort.
Yeah, you just got to tell yourself. I mean, if you in your heart, because there might be some people out there that they tell themselves that they did enough for that patient, but they know deep down that they didn't. For me personally, there was no avenue that I didn't go down trying to change the condition that he was in. there was nothing I could have done differently. I couldn't, he was on oxygen. We had got him the paramedics. We checked his, there's nothing more that I could have done. There's no medicine. I couldn't give him a magic pill. There was nothing more I could have done. And, I did everything that I could have done. And that's what I know when I lay my head down at night afterwards, after that happened. That's what I always tell myself is I know that I did what I had to do. I did the best I could because he's not the first patient that I've caught on the brink of death that I've gotten proper help for and they've come back better. He's not the first person. So I know that if I did that in the past, I know that I did that now.
That's where I'm gonna top this off before I go to like our last question and get some fun questions in. You mentioned like your coping mechanism from playing video games, and then you talked about how some people experience death so much it's desensitizing. It throws me off a lot, especially when it's like what video games you're playing, because some video games promote death so heavily.
Right.
I don't know if it's perhaps correlating to why also people are not as traumatized in death as they should be.
Right.
Games like GTA or Call of Duty promote violence and killing. It's like in hospitals, even in movies, like it's become so normalized to make it like this dramatic scene that it's like I don't know. Oh, I've seen this before. So when reality hits, it's like oh, I've seen this before. The weight I feel like has lightened a lot.
Right.
In that sense. All right. So let's get that comment. So my third and last question before I answer or ask my 2024 questions. Let's go into. Ooh. This is my favorite one. So, this is for healthcare and working in a company and team. How does your team foster an environment of open communication about mental health concerns?
You want to take this one?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really come from that. Well, I've worked in teams where it's very stressful, but it's like you're just focusing on the problem in front of you so you can solve it. And there's so many problems arising all the time that you have to have like a very high velocity of like decision making and planning. And you can't get hung up on stuff because it makes you less effective.
It's like shoot and you can shoot the next target.
Yeah. And there's not like time to like just talk about how it works.
I could see how that's efficient because like you're not getting too much time to really reflect on it at the same time.
Not getting hung up on anything. Right. Also not judging the moment, which I discussed earlier. So it's like this happened, all right, pivot, learn, adapt, improvise, adapt, overcome. No, I'm just kidding. But like, so it's like
that's how it be.
Say I'm in sales and it's like a deal falls through. It's like, okay, what did we learn? Great, move on. And then, but it's different because it's not like people are dying. And so I feel like it's really more important because for us, it's like if I'm in sales, like the goal is just to make money,
right?
Or to like solve someone's problem with our product or service. But for you, it's to save someone's life.
I mean, don't forget though. Think about like the external environment of life also affect your work sometimes. Because like we mentioned breakups.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like that's just not gonna affect your everyday life.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna act like oh yeah I broke up. Time to get back to work.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it would be harder. I think it would be harder for somebody in your field to deal with breakup than somebody in healthcare. I could just go pick up a whole bunch of shifts and not think about it.
You have to perform.
I like what I said, coworker.
Nah, nothing in the workplace, man.
Solid.
When I'm a manager, or if I have a company, I will like let people know that they can always talk to me about anything that's going on. And if I see someone who might be not performing as well, like I'll just ask them like, "Hey, is something going on?" That like line of like trust and mutual understanding while we're like working together, I think is important. But you also see a lot of like cutthroat people in business too, which is like which exists because it could also be effective, which is like kind of
making money. It's the best thing to do when the goal's making money.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to cut.
But sometimes maybe not in the long term. I don't know. This is a tangent. But I read Steve Jobs and Elon Musk's biographies by Walter Isaacson. Very good. But they're both Steve Jobs and both Steve Jobs and Elon are both like assholes to people to be effective. Um, it's like they're not trying to be people's friends all the time and like help people in like the micro and these like one-to-one interactions. Like you prioritize the needs of the entire organization, and sometimes that could be at the cost of like someone's feelings.
Right.
And then wait, I'm writing the autobiographies down. Who made them?
Walter Isaacson.
Walter
Yeah, he's really good. I recommend all his stuff.
Okay, and then earlier you mentioned there was a book you read where you found
The Artist's Way or The Artist's Path. I'll have to. I forget the exact phrasing. I think her name is like Julia Cameron or something along those lines. I don't want to get it wrong.
All good. I'm just making a little bit.
Yeah. So all that's to say that within like a corporate professional environment, I haven't been in a situation where we openly talked about health at all. In the future, if I'm a manager or leader of an organization, I would establish like a line of like trust and communication along those lines. But at the same time, you also have to be tough.
You do.
Yeah,
Sometimes
you have to hold people
up, but there's also some serious concerns with the person you address and not as well.
Right.
Yeah. There's a mix of empathy, but also accountability, and like we need this outcome. So it's like
I kind of hate first world problems. That's me personally. Like I'm sorry, I cannot stand when people kind of like bring first world problems into the workplace, specifically healthcare, because like it's like, look at the world and look how miserable some people are, and then here you are complaining to me about your Starbucks order.
Right.
Someone just made you a drink, and you're mad because they spelled your name wrong. They got everything right, but your name just wasn't spelled right. Like, come on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that stuff gets. Jaden, like in the workplace, how do you address concerns?
For things like that, I feel like it should be addressed more because I feel like it's not addressed enough.
Right.
I think that so many healthcare workers are put into like this bubble where we're like machines. We're just, we're just doing what we have to, getting by to the next shift, and so on and so forth. I think that the fields, we really should emphasize mental health more often. We should have better on-site staff that pertains to mental health. But I think how we combat it in each facility is encouraging more communication between administrative staff and the nurses, the doctors, et cetera, because if you encourage the communication between the two, then we, the nurses, we feel like we're being heard, and then administration, they'll take into account like, okay, if we want to make more money, how do we make more money? Well, we kind of feed into what the nurses are saying. Chances are, most administrative staff in healthcare have never worked as nurses, doctors, techs, anything like that. They just hold degrees in,
just like insurance.
Exactly. They hold degrees in business. So I truly can't expect somebody with a degree in economics to understand what it's like to take care of a patient when they've never been taught how to take care of a patient, but they know money.
That's the
Exactly.
The analytics are right.
So how do you combine money and healthcare on the nurses aspect? You find the common ground. The common ground is communication. If we emphasize more mental health in our facilities, maybe having an on-staff therapist nurse, like a mental health nurse, or maybe not like a psychologist or anything.
Like a work performance coach.
Right. Somebody that you can consistently talk to, and I don't want this to be like human resources, because most people that work human resources have a degree in like business. Right? So I want somebody that has a degree in or is specializing in mental health or psychology. Somebody that can actually do something that they were taught to do, not something that they had to learn to do on their own. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think. All right, so you triggered like a big ass memory. When I was recovering from jaw surgery, I had jaw surgery That cleared October 20th.
Mm.
Had it in November. There was this show me and my mom watched when I was recovering. It was called Billions. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, so pretty much it's about this dude who started from the bottom of like the Bronx and Brooklyn, the Bronx in New York or Brooklyn. But he worked his way up to being like a high like stock trader or something, eventually becoming a billionaire. So to do this, he hired a full team. He got like his own like building and everything. He worked his way up. But the key behind all of success is that he had a performance coach who was a psychiatrist. And so it wasn't like HR. So what she was is in the whole like corporate office, she had her own office. And when like workers were having mental breakdowns or dealing with shit, they would go into her room and they would just have like a one-on-one coaching session, talking this shit through what's going on. And she would psychoanalyze the fuck out of them. Like, I remember there was a scene where like this dude got like, there was an employee who was rich as fuck, right? Like he made a bunch of money. He was a good worker, good earner. He was wondering why he couldn't get girls. And like he's like, yeah, I got all this cool designer. I got all this cool drip. Like, I'm cool as fuck. Like, why are the girls coming to me? And she was like, yeah, look what you just said. You have all this external stuff out on you, internally.
Exactly.
I'm a woman. You don't like that. And like just cutthroat with me. Breaking something down like that, maybe from a mental health perspective, definitely like key. I just wish they had more jobs like that.
Yeah.
I know it's a TV show, but if like a job like that were actually real, it would kind of, I feel like it'd be a solid contributor to the healthcare world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Some hospitals do have that type of stuff. Some hospitals, they do have it. It's just not common. Like they'll have a number that you can call. But I mean, you call a number, it's like that number, you know, you might have maybe 3 psychologists for an entire company. So now if I have a problem as a nurse, who's to say that I'm going to get in contact with the psychologist over the 10 people that called from 10 different departments that are having breakdowns in their facility. I mean, in their and for their own mental capacity. So having somebody on staff, and I know it costs more money, but you're sacrificing a little bit now to gain more in the future, because you need, how are you going to maintain bringing in more staff and retain staff that you already have? Some people, they're going home, they're mentally drained, they are done. Some of them, they can't even give proper care to their kids. If they're not giving proper care to their kids, how do you expect them to give proper care to their patients?
Compliments have to do.
That's true. Yes. So, but if you sacrifice a little bit now and you emphasize mental health more often, having a therapist, even if she's not, let's say it's a therapist that doesn't sit in the the building every day. Let's say you have somebody that comes in twice a week, right? Come in twice a week, talk to all of the staff. Be like, hey, let me talk to you real quick. Let me pull you off the floor. And it doesn't even have to be, let's say while they're in the middle of giving medicine. You pull them off. Let's say they're on their break. Oh, can I see you for 10 minutes? That 10 minutes could turn into something bigger and you don't even know it. You might be essential, yeah. Exactly. You could be saying things that you didn't even know you were harboring so far down in your psyche for so long. You might just come out and say it and you wouldn't even know. And that 10 minutes of just talking to that therapist would be worth more than just saying, oh, take a day off, right? Take a day off, or here's a bonus. Like, at the end of the day, a bonus is nice. Taking a day off is nice. But since when can you put money in your head? You can't put money in your head. But what's going to increase the longevity of you being at the job, being a nurse, being able to take care of patients, is your mental health. So you got to invest into it more often.
Heard that. Invest into your mental health more often. Make that a priority for people who are listening. All right, so now I'm gonna end this with 2 questions. Please both answer. Give me your best answers.
All
right. The first one is, let's see. All right. If you could time travel to a moment in the future where your mental health is at its best, what year would you choose, and what activities would you be engaged in?
Like 10 years ago.
That's fine. Yeah.
When I was born. I'm just kidding. feel like the happiest I've been in a community where I have value and bring value to the community, and we're working towards a common goal, and it's healthy. Like and I think it probably stems from this like evolutionary biology thing. Where it's like as humans, we grew up in like tribes. That's how we survived.
Yeah. Before agriculture became thing.
Yeah, now
Protection.
at least in the U.S., things are like very atomized, where it's like people are just within their like individual units, and at least it's like craving a community. Um, so in a community, healthy, working towards a mission. I'm doing that now. Yeah, I think it can always be better. But that's my answer.
That's solid. That's solid. You didn't, well, not 10
Like-
years or anything, but like you foresee it in the future.
2024, that's the year.
Yeah, let's make it 2024. I mean, it can happen at any moment.
Yeah.
Happen at any moment.
I would probably travel to, I say like, let me see, I'm 24 now, so I'd be 50 in 26 years. So I'd say like 26 years. The only reason I say 26 years when I'm 50 is because I would want to see like how society has changed. I would want to see like, did I actually have 6 kids? like really?
Turns out to be 12.
Like right. Man, I want to be like, man, did I actually have like all of these kids? You know, did I make a difference? Did I, help a team make a difference? I'm just curious to see where life is gonna go. But also, I would be curious. I actually was just thinking about this the other day. I would actually go back in time. So I would go forward 26 years to when I'm 50.
Yeah.
I would go back in time to when I was a baby. Right? Hear me out.
Yeah, where you going with this?
I would go back in time to when I was a baby, just to like hold myself. No, actually, no, I take that back. I would go back in time to like 1999 or 98, right?
Born in 98?
I was born in 99.
Okay.
So I would go back in time, show up to my childhood house, knock on the door, and just like say like, "Hey, I'm Jaden from the future." I'm like, "That's me right there." Like, no, literally.
I'm the chosen one.
Yeah, no, like literally. And I would just want to see their reaction. I'd be like, yeah, this is what your son is. Like,
this one.
They're like, we'll call the police. Like, please leave.
No, literally. And then I was thinking like, so this might be going for tangent. I was thinking that, right? And I'd be like, no, it's really me. And then I would start dropping like all the secrets of like all my family. I'd be like, your full name is this. Your full name is that. That's not even your kid. That's just like I'll be saying everything, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, he really is from the future." I would just want to see like from my own eyes how different it was like 20 something years ago to now, and I would want to hold myself as a baby. That's a crazy flex. No, it wouldn't be.
Holding yourself
Bro,
as
you know what?
baby?
Bro, you know what type of flex that would be, bro?
That's like
to take a picture of yourself holding yourself as a baby. Watch when they make the DeLorean be able to time travel.
I'll probably drop myself.
You would drop yourself?
I would get so
bro, gonna give yourself a bump.
Yeah, just show up like in the future.
What's wrong with you?
I get nervous and stuff like that. You tend to have like mental overload. It's like, yo, like one false move, you can change forever.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. All right, let's see. My last and final question. What are 3 mental health experiences, activities you want to check off your bucket list in 2024? And then if mental health had a travel itinerary, where would you want it to take you next year?
I'm gonna take my grandma to Paris. Never left the United States or been to like a big city.
So you want to take it to Paris? Okay.
Yeah, she lived in El Paso, Texas for like 30 years. It's like the desert.
There's
It's not
nothing in
very
El Paso.
exciting. Yeah,
Isn't that like
Except
right
the
over
hot
the
sauce.
border?
yeah, it's like next to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm from.
I think in El Paso is the hot sauce and
Is that hot sauce from Texas? Like El Paso?
I don't know.
Is that racist?
yeah, it's not racist.
Oh, okay.
I know there's an El Paso hot sauce.
I mean, there's just like Mexican food. But I've had better Mexican food in the DC area. So it's
Damn.
like,
That's sad.
DMV up.
I'm not trying to hate on El Paso, but Paris is probably better.
Okay. Paris is better.
Bro, it's gonna smell like croissants.
Yeah.
Escargot.
Yeah. It would be really great. So I mean, that's like a travel mental health thing.
I like
It'd be a good life thing. It's like
a little goal. I like that.
I want to
It's cool.
like treat her.
Grandma holds it down.
Yeah, she does.
Meditate more. Get abs. I don't know.
Abs. Caloric deficit. Here we come.
Yeah. I want abs, but I don't want to stop eating as much. So
I
You
say
gotta work out more. But you can't
trying,
outwork a
yeah.
bad diet.
stay away from seed oils. That's like the best thing I can tell you.
Seed oils?
Cheetos?
No, seed oils.
Oh.
seed oils and Cheetos.
There's seed oils and Cheetos. The hateful
I use
eight.
olive
There's,
oil.
I don't
there's
know, man. Cheetos
olive
is
oil
not
is
good.
fine. There's 8 seed oils that cause inflammation and terrible health problems.
Really?
Yeah, it's palm oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, soy. 6.
Is olive oil one of them?
Olive oil is not one of them.
Oh, okay. Is
Um,
vegetable oil one of them?
vegetable oil is one of them. It's like palm and
okay.
canola.
I'll stop drinking all of them.
Corn syrup.
Oil.
Corn syrup. Corn syrup's one of them, and I think cottonseed oil. Hateful eight. Yeah.
I didn't even know there was
I'm telling you,
cottonseed
look,
oil.
if you look at the products you eat,
Mm.
look at the ingredients. The first thing is going to be like one of those seed oils. That's how you know you just don't eat it. But
I'm trying to cook way more. Like I don't buy like processed food or like frozen meals or anything.
eggs,
Like,
beef,
making
chicken.
it-
Gotta look like Quando Tron.
You are like I think your mental health is also like a very large byproduct of your physical health and your diet.
Of course.
Absolutely.
I think people probably
Absolutely.
underplay that, but it's like we are like hardware. Not to sound like a tech guy, but it's like
Your body is a temple, though. You gotta treat it. You know.
like the nutrients that you intake and the food that you eat. Yeah, and what you do physically, I think really plays a huge role in your well-being. That combined
And
with,
your motherboard.
and your motherboard and your circuits. Oh,
I'm spitting.
this is another like tangent, but it's interesting. I was learning the other day like the role of fat in the body. Fat insulates your nerves. You're a nurse. You probably know way more than I do. But it's like
You're not wrong.
yeah, it's like the fat insulates the nerve.
Yeah.
So the
The
electrical
myelin sheath. Yeah. So
the electrical signal doesn't disperse. So
Yeah.
it could like travel along.
That's literally what Will said. The myelin sheath.
Myelin
That's
sheath,
where
yeah.
it's for like axons and dendrites.
Yeah, that's where because when that begins to break down, that's where you see MS, multiple sclerosis, happen.
Well, my dad has that.
Yeah. So multiple sclerosis happens when the myelin sheath that surrounds the axon that's being transported across the synapse, when it begins to break down, that means that because when it's traveling across the synapse, it's an electrical field.
Right.
So when it's traveling across the electrical field, because there's no fat surrounding the axon, the signal is getting messed up from here to here. That's why when you see a lot of people with MS, it's like they're breaking down, stuff like that, because the signals aren't getting where they need to properly get to the correct way.
So I learned this from a PT at my gym. Would neural flossing be like a good corrective behavior for that?
What is neural floss?
Neural flossing is just like when you're stretching, try to like oscillate like your head and your joint at the same time. Like you showed me, I'm doing like a hamstring stretch. Kind of tilt my head down.
Whoa.
Practice like that.
I mean,
Receptive. Yeah. Like a nerve. It's nerve glides.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I truly don't know.
I'll research that.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me because I truly don't know. I actually
Okay.
never even heard that before in my life.
With neural flossing.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a nerve glide. So
Okay. Yeah,
nerve glide.
I have no idea. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well then, Jaden,
I give medicine.
let's get you to wrap this up for us then. We already answered that one.
I think we was at the
3 mental health experience activities you want to check off your bucket list in 2024, and if your mental health had a travel itinerary, where would you want it to take you next year?
So like Josh was saying, travel. I want to travel more. I would take my grandmother somewhere, but she's not going anywhere.
Grandma's not built for it.
Yeah.
Your grandma's built different. She
Yeah.
can go to Paris.
She is like, I don't know if I can do the flight. I'm like, you're gonna do it,
Yeah,
all right?
do it.
Just trust me, it'll work out.
Nah,
Get
man,
it, one way or
I wouldn't be able to convince my grandmother to do. Man, she don't like flying at all.
Yes, my grandma, you gotta drive.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know how I would drive her to the Caribbean, but
Put the boat on water.
yeah,
Put her on the boat.
I don't know,
Just tell her the boat got wheels.
man. But just continuing to travel more, experience new things. I like to take. I forgot to say it earlier. I like to take drives. That also helps with my mental health.
I saw the whip.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be taking some drives.
Yeah. I mean, but even before then, even when I had the little Sonata, I was taking a lot of. I put so many miles on that car, and I was taking a lot of trips in that car. I just like to drive, man. So just taking more road trips, like Josh also said, more meditation, so beneficial for getting you ready for the day. And the third thing would probably be more self care activities. You know, you get one body, so what you do to it externally will affect you internally. And I think that more people should get things like massages. I think more people should get things, they should do more stretching, things of that nature. And exactly, yeah, it's good stuff. Exactly. And then so self-care, but self-care, it means different things for everybody. So for me, it'll probably just be making sure I take more or better care of my body, more stretching, definitely more water.
You're already doing fine with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to, man.
Man,
I go to Walmart, I get this cranberry pomegranate juice. Man, I finish the bottle in like a day if I'm not paying attention, man. That thing is, and it's like it's like a liter and a half too. I finished that whole thing in a day, man.
Bloodstream is like 30%.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So I had to, I gotta be mindful of it, man. I was like cutting back on fast food, So anything that I could think of, just continuing to take care of myself holistically as best way as I possibly can, and spreading the word of helping other people take care of themselves.
I saw the page. I'm definitely gonna Tell me your page.
Oh, it's actually, cause I was just telling myself, cause I want to deactivate my main page, and then I want to just focus on the other page, like the health page. So hold on. Yeah, let me. I can't believe I forgot it. I think it's like Nurse J. Yeah. So it's Nurse J. Period. Underscore.
J-A-Y.
Yeah, J-A-Y. Period underscore.
Heard it here first, folks. Nurse J-Y. And then my little personal things I wanna, fix with my mental health is I definitely want to have a little more isolation time to kind of like ask myself the questions that I need to ask. So journaling or like try to defeat myself with my thoughts. Kind of like it's having those self-talks is one of them. I do want to work on, like you were saying, flexibility. I'm kind of more into like, what do I say, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I want some form of fighting, but also incorporate where it affects like my strength training and my flexibility. Muay Thai, yeah, that's a good one. Because I want to be able to do one of those kicks where like you stand on one foot, with the other foot all the way up in the air type shit.
You want to be a gymnast?
I guess a gymnast. I want to be able to be that flexible. Like at 6'3",
that'd be insane.
Exactly. So like that's a goal. Another one. And then where do I want my mental health to take me? Honestly, I want it to take me anywhere in Europe personally, but honestly more independent. Like I want to do solo camping. I want to be able to take a trip out with my dog, like somewhere far in the mountains, and set up a tent or something. Just like chill, reflect on myself, wake up to a nice sunrise, and not have to worry about like my grandfather kids. I'm not I want peace of mind so bad. Other than that, I'm getting ready to put in some applications for school. Like you said, I'm a mental health professional. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm being a mental health professional. Hopefully this podcast will help me flourish in that. If not, I'm still going to keep pushing. So, are there any last words you guys want to say before we wrap this up?
This is great, and I'm inspired to do more wholesome things in my life.
Yeah, man. What you do to your body now will either benefit you or betray you.
Thanks.
Make sure it benefits you, so you can run around your 8 kids.
Yeah, from a nurse. Nurse J prescribed the best. All right, so thank you guys again for watching Piece by Piece. This is your episode for mental health and nursing and what to expect in 2024. like I said, we are now on Spotify and Apple. Like I said, piece by piece, and all our extra clips and extra content is on YouTube. Thank you for watching. I'm so appreciative of anyone who's coming to watch or giving their best comment or even subscribing. I know we're still at a low subscriber count, but every day we're increasing more by more. And I hope to create a community from this that people can benefit from in the future. So, like I said, my name's William Parham. I'm your host. Jaden, Josh, thank you both for coming on.
Appreciate you for having me, big dog.
No problem. No problem. All right. So you guys have a good one. Peace.
Peace.